She's grown, she's bold, she's speaking her mind. A little dose of truth with a whole lot of shine. Hot topics, real life, no stressing. You tapped in now, it's a dose of precious.
Real talk, good vibes, and Jim's authentic. Welcome to A Dose of Precious. Thank you for coming back for another week. If this is your first time, welcome. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. This is also going to be posted on all platforms where you can stream a podcast. So definitely go and listen there. Thumbs up there. Follow there as well. That is Apple Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everything. Go follow me. Go give me a thumbs up. Leave me a 5-star review. Thank you. And so just to jump right in, I'm going to do a quick check-in. I don't have any complaints. I'm in a great mood. My birthday is coming up, so I'm trying to get that together because it's a big milestone. I want to vlog on my birthday. We'll see. But yeah, really excited about that. You guys can see I'm back with Old Faithful, my girl. She's here, standing strong. She's still cute. She's not fresh flowers, but she's still cute. So, shout out to her. Just to jump right in, we're going to move to viral talk.
Viral talk.
Of course, we are going to be reviewing, or I'll give you an update on the Diddy case. A lot has happened. We've had a lot of new testimonies because so many more witnesses have come up. Just to start off, we have Dr. Dawn Hughes. She is a expert that's coming to just speak on the case from her perspective so that we can get a better understanding of why victims may stay with their abusers, etc., etc. So she is a clinical and a forensic psychologist. Basically, she explained to everyone that typically if a person that is abused will stay in these relationships because of trauma bonds, typically because of fear. The abuser usually has complete control over the person that they're abusing, and they also make sure that they don't have access to any resources, aka money, connections, etc., so that they would need to stay in that relationship or that situation. Like, they have no choice but to stay. She also spoke about how typically abusers use drugs to cope. When listening to Cassie's testimony, she repeatedly expressed that she used drugs to cope with the freak-offs. She also mentioned how Diddy introduced her to a lot of drugs. So I feel like drugs is a really big part of her staying for so long. Even though, because he controlled everything, she probably would have stayed regardless. But I feel like drugs did play a big role. She also mentioned that it takes multiple attempts for someone in these types of situations to leave. And if you didn't know, now you know that is also the most dangerous time in that relationship. Often women are unalived when attempting to leave their abusers. We also got to hear from George Kaplan, who was Diddy's former assistant. He expressed, kind of like what another assistant expressed, was that Diddy had very high standards for his workers, that they typically had really long days. George specifically said that there were some weeks where he worked 100 hours a week. And to note that he was only averaging like $65,000 to work nonstop, to constantly be on call and only be getting that much is like insane. And then when you think about all of the stress that comes with it, it's just totally not worth it. But it seems like everybody, another thing, and this is a positive, which you won't hear a lot from me on this case, is that everyone that ends up leaving after working for Diddy all say that they learned something from like working for him, and that they feel like so knowledgeable and that he's so inspiring. Very interesting. He recalled quite a few incidences where Diddy was physically aggressive or physically abusive towards Cassie. One specific time where he threw a glass at Cassie, and then when George was actually able to see her, Cassie was crying and she had bruises all over her body. There were several stories that he went into. We won't speak about those today. We will move on to Kid Cudi. Now, I was waiting for this because there was a lot of speculation around what happened, and so I wanted to hear what he had to say. And I understood exactly where he was coming from, but I still feel like that's not exactly what happened, and I hope that he will be able to see that, or he has a better understanding of that now. So basically, when Cassie found out that Diddy knew about the relationship with Kid Cudi, she reached out to Kid Cudi, said, I don't feel safe and he's probably going to kill me. Can you come, like, help me? And so Kid Cudi went and he picked her up. That is when Kid Cudi was then contacted saying that Diddy was in his house, and Diddy was like, come to your house, like I want to have a conversation with you. When Kid Cudi came back, he came back to find that his Porsche was on fire. I believe that before he even got there, something like they said something about a dog walker telling him or whatever. Anyway, he did call the cops. The cops came. They confirmed that the fire was started by a drink. Up until this day, Kid Cudi still believes that Diddy was the one to set his car on fire. He doesn't have any concrete proof of this, and Diddy never confirmed this, but he does believe that Diddy was the one to start the fire. He also did note that he felt as though Cassie played him, and so I felt like his testimony was kind of like, it didn't really help or hurt necessarily Diddy's case, because there wasn't a lot of concrete proof. Like, you just have to believe that he did it, but I really still didn't feel like there was nothing pointing at the fact that he did do that, even though knowing everything else, right? I feel like, would you believe that that was like something that you could put past him? Probably not. At least in my opinion, I would say no. But yeah. Anyway, that's crazy. That's really, really crazy. And I hope that Kid Cudi can see that she was in an abusive relationship and she probably really did want to leave and she probably really did love him, but she just couldn't get away from Diddy because he was just too powerful. Moving on to a former makeup artist of Diddy and Cassie. This person had gotten close with Cassie and recalled a time where they were in a hotel room and she heard Cassie and Diddy arguing. She then, soon after Diddy left out, and when she went into the room, Cassie had visible bruises and she was bleeding. A doctor did come to the hotel or to the room to check Cassie and suggested that she would go to the emergency room, but Cassie was too afraid and she basically was like, no, I'm not going to go to the emergency room. And yeah, more attacks on Cassie. We then move into Capricorn Clark, who was once Diddy's personal assistant, who also recalls working really hard and Diddy having high expectations for his workers. She also recalled a situation where she was accused of stealing. So they held her hostage for like 48 hours, did a lie detector test on her, threatened her and let her know that they could not get a good reading on the lie detector test. She said because she was so nervous, and they were like, if you don't pass this lie detector test, basically, essentially, Diddy is going to unalive you. Something about ending up in a river, which sounds really mafia-ish. But yeah, basically, bitch, if we find out you stealing from us, you're a goner. Okay, actually, Capricorn Clark was the one that said that she got paid $65K, but I would assume that if she was the executive assistant getting paid $65, then damn, that means the other assistants were probably making even less. Diddy did not pay overtime, because that was another thing. She went to him about overtime, and he basically was like, bitch, if you don't get the fuck out of my face, I don't fucking play with you like that. Crazy. She also said that she averaged 4 hours of sleep, which is also really insane because sleep is so fucking important. Nobody ever talks about that. She confirmed that Diddy was very upset when he found out about the relationship between Kid Cudi and Cassie. She also confirmed that Diddy did say that he wanted to kill or unalive, Kid Cudi, and that they did in fact go over to Kid Cudi's house. She did not confirm that Diddy was the one to start the fire. There was also some evidence that evidence that pointed to a woman being the one to start the fire, which gets Diddy off of the hook. And it also came out that there was another set of fingerprints or DNA, but all of those fingerprints in the DNA was missing. Someone destroyed the evidence at the LAPD. And allegedly, Diddy had the LAPD in his pocket, and so even when a lot of his victims would go to the police, it would never get anywhere because he paid off the LAPD. Allegedly. Crazy. This came up before, but all of these people coming up also did shed light on the fact that Diddy did have a substance or does have a substance use issue. It was also confirmed that he did threaten to leak explicit videos of Cassie when she didn't do the things that she wanted him to do. And she said to several people that she did not enjoy doing the freak offs, but she did not have a choice. So that's a quick update of what's going on. Oh, another thing. So Diddy's lawyers did file for a mistrial because there was evidence that was destroyed and they don't have access to that evidence. Basically, the fingerprints that I told you guys about that was destroyed by a LAPD officer. He attempted to get a mistrial for that, but the judge denied it. I assume that there's going to be a lot more attempts at a mistrial. I'm not sure if the judge will approve that. It's interesting to see how people are responding to what's going on. Like, I saw a lot of backlash of Kid Cudi. Basically them calling Kid Cudi a rat or a snitch. My thing is, I thought that there was like a street code type of thing, and the street code was, if I am not participating in illegal activities, if I am a civilian, that if something happens to me, that I would tell the cops. I just don't understand what's this thing where, I wouldn't do it because da 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 da. I think it's circumstantial, but I personally thought the rule was, if you are involved, if you want to be a scammer, a drug dealer, whatever you want to be involved with things that you know are illegal, I feel like you are obligated to hold up a certain code of ethics when it comes to telling the police things. What do I mean by that? If you are taking old ladies' savings, life savings, 70-year-old, 80-year-old, 90-year-old women's life savings, and you get caught, I feel like you should do your time. If you get caught red-handed, I feel like you need to go to court. Like, that's it for you. You got caught, that's it, right? But if this person is innocent, like I've been hearing recently, all of these situations with women are, and this is not a new thing. I think it's just being maybe spoken about more, but women getting arrested because they're dealing with the man and they get caught up in his nonsense. I feel like not only should you tell, but I feel like he should be okay with that. Because you're not participating. I mean, technically there are ways that you could be participating, but in general terms, typically you're probably not like a willing participant, right? And so in that case, I'm like, damn, you should tell, because you're not choosing to be a criminal. I don't have the answers, but I thought, again, civilians, like people that are not actively participating or trying to be committing a crime, I feel like they should tell. Something happens to him. He's a innocent bystander in reality. Here he is going based off of what she said. And he gets wrapped up in all of this, and then y'all try to comfort him for telling his truth? What happened to his Porsche? Get that man the money so he could fix his fucking Porsche. I mean, the Porsche is gone now. It's been years. The Porsche is gone. But can he get it replaced? Does he get like, okay, that was a 2002. Are you replacing it with a 2005? Like, that's it? His car's just gone? I'd be pissed. And I would still be like, is there any way for me to get my money back for my Porsche? They would hate me. Because I'd be up there trying to get my new Porsche. Because this man destroyed my shit. And there was some back and forth too. Was he dating Cassie? Was he not dating Cassie? Were they friends? He went up there. He said he got played. Then they're like, oh, he didn't even get to have sex with her. I'm just like, listen, this is what I'll say. Because I brought this up for a reason. This is what I'll say. I've been in a situation where I was an innocent bystander, and okay, maybe I wasn't as innocent as Kid Cudi. But I was innocent nonetheless. And, you know, you get caught up in this situation. It's like, damn, I didn't even get nothing from this. You mad at me over a person, and I didn't get nothing. I didn't get a little bit of money. I didn't get a little bit of a good time. What's a good time? A trip. I didn't get a bag. I didn't get a shoe. I didn't get a perfume. Please don't, do not come up to me about no other person if I didn't get something out of it. Okay? Leave me alone. Go fight your partner. Okay, Cudi, I see you. You need to figure out how to get that fucking Porsche back. I know the Porsche is gone. You need a new Porsche. You need to be compensated. Period. And they mad at you for telling them. Please. Moving on. We're going to go into another story that's funny, not funny. We will go into the Papoose and the Remy Ma Gaza. What is it called? What is it? Extravaganza. No, that's a good thing. Gate. The Rem and Pap gate. Because not Black Love is fighting. The girls are fighting. I mean, the girls are fighting so much that they're on the internet. Bing, 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 duking it out. I'm like, Remy Ma. Since I heard about her, I've always enjoyed her. Right? I expect her to do what she did. I get she was holding it down. I expect that from her. She got overwhelmed. Things happened. She felt like her hand was forced. Everything that she did, I was not surprised. Him coming on the internet, saying some things that felt like they weren't true. They could be true, but they didn't feel like they were entirely true. She's coming up with receipts. You're coming up with new stories. It was a mess. Let's watch some of the videos. I still have seen bits and pieces of the live, so I still don't know entirely what the hell is going on. But we could watch some of it.
I've never ever been with somebody that was just holding me down, not doing that. I was paying rent from jail.
Now he's a wife. Listen, this is what I would like. Papoose, you have my lawyer's information. If you can't afford to retain a lawyer, since your lawyer that the number you gave us has not been retained yet, I told you I'll pay for it. If somebody over there that loves you wants to pay for it, great. That will make me happy. Everything is signed and ready to go. I don't want nothing. I'm not even asking for child support. My daughter's school, her babysitter, her nanny, her gymnastics, her swimming, her dancing, her healthcare, her all of that. I take care of it like I've always done. I don't need anything.
That's giving police lawyer talk. I'm not paying for whatever's supposed to be in them bags. No, no, no. Here they go. They're right here. There they go. No, 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 no. Stop. I don't know what people have. Y'all don't know what people have. My ex might be the least income making person that I've ever been with. Ever. Everybody included. Whenever you're ready, the papers are there. I don't want anything, nothing, no things. I would like my jewelry. I would like it. Could you go pick up my jewelry from out of the pawn shop? Could you go pick it up? I ain't even asked about the money. The $35,000 that got ran up on my Amex. I paid it. No, it's a gambling thing. It's a real bad gambling problem over there. Nothing. Pawn poos.
So let's start with what Remy said. Remy alleges that Papoose has been cheating on her since she was in jail. She also said that she has been paying for all of the bills while she was still in jail. And that he doesn't do anything for their daughter. She does everything financially. He was basically living his life off of her, moving around as her manager, and Pap would get 20% at one point of everything that she was making, while Remy was still paying all of the bills. Pap said that she is a lesbian. She's been a lesbian this entire time, that she has been cheating on him, and he just stands for black love. And, she is just lying about everything that she's saying. So they both have opposing views. They feel how they feel, blah, 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 blah. What I will say is, it's sad that it's come to this. I just feel like I get that I don't feel like we were even all in their relationship, honestly. They showed us what they showed us. The girls ate it up. I am the girls, me included. I was like, oh, I love this for them, blah, blah, blah. He seemed really sweet. She seemed to be really sweet with him. They wanted a baby. It was like amazing. It was really super cute. But now I'm just like, damn, guys, like, could we have ended maybe on a more cordial type of note where even if y'all was beefing behind the scenes, like it was never brought to light? Another thing that I don't enjoy is that Clarissa is all up in the middle of it. What I will say is, when there is a relationship that has gone on, they were married for 15, something like that, maybe 20 years. Those types of situations, I honestly feel like if somebody is involved, you should really never deal with that person again involved to that extent, because do they really be how are you really over your wife that you've been married to for so long this fast? And I get that she feels like, well, we've been dealing with each other, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. He's not really with her because he's doing this with me. He's doing that with you. What I learned early, and I even hate this for me, is that you will think that you can account for someone's where they are, what they're doing relatively at all times, and he will still or she will still make time. He magically, it's another 2 hours in there when he hanging out with Boo Boo, and you're like, how How did this happen? So you just honestly, you never truly know, number one. Number two, they are just too deep in for you to be inserting yourself. If you want to be his girlfriend and y'all are in love and all of this stuff that y'all said and you starting a family and y'all trying to do this and y'all trying to do that, cool. But don't comment on none of this. Just don't comment on it. If she don't say nothing about you, don't say nothing about her. And even if she does say something about you, don't say nothing about her, because honestly and truly, I hate this for Clarissa, because Clarissa's status, she should really be up here, but I just feel like she just be associating herself with anybody. She wanted to be with Pap. Do I think he's the most successful person? No. Could he be a really good guy? Sure. I just feel like she needs to hold herself to a certain standard. That's what I'll say. She needs to hold herself to a certain standard. And if she can't hold herself to a certain standard, if that's too much for her, then I feel like get media training. I don't know how else to combat that. There's nothing else to say. She needs to only associate with certain people. She should be, like everybody keeps saying, getting Nike deals and all of this types of other stuff. Like, she should just be grinding and working real hard. And I feel like she keeps inserting herself in drama. She was arguing with Taziki. Why are you ever in the same sentence as Taziki? I don't even know how I know the name Taziki. And I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. There's no reason why you should ever be challenging that girl. You're a fucking Olympian. You're an Olympian winner. You should never be associated with those type of people. They should be crying to talk to you, and you should just be like, I give them dust, because you're that girl. You're an Olympian winner. There's no reason why you should be in these types of conversations. Again, I don't think Papoose is a horrible guy. I don't know him for real. He could be a monster. I know how that goes too. But just let him deal with his situation. Don't say nothing about it. Honestly, I think you should get away from him, because you could definitely find somebody better. Dating down never does anybody any good, number one. Number two, his drama and all that he has going on does not look good. And it just makes your brand look even messier. And you already be inserting yourself in some odd stuff. So girl, stop. I think you're beautiful. I love you. I saw that your movie is on and I want to watch it when I could like actually pay attention and watch it. But I think the movie is on Prime. So I'm going to watch that. Maybe we'll talk about that on here. But girl, just stop associating yourself with certain people. Moving on. Now we're going to speak about Sakai Jackson and her baby daddy. Now, I am a millennial, a late millennial. So I missed the Sakai Jackson. By the time Sakai Jackson had her show on Disney, I was too old. I wasn't watching Disney. But that's where she's from. She's a Disney star. Clearly, she is a very sheltered girl, and it just gave. She was looking for a bad boy. She gets he looks like white, black. He's a ginger. I have nothing nice to say, so I'm just gonna. He has been beating her entire relationship. That's where I could start. He's been beating her entire relationship. He allegedly, and then he allegedly made her drink bleach because he was trying to get her to kill the baby. Basically, he's just a deadbeat. He came online before and was like, basically, if we fighting and we fighting, that's what he calls it. When he beats his bitches up, he calls it, we just fighting. Okay. I don't really know what to say about this, because I'm like, how the hell did you even interact with him? Like, how do you even get around? I know that, like, bad people could find you, but it it just gives you were looking for this type of person, because out of all fucking people, this is who you end up with. But anybody could be a monster, honestly. So you just never know. Girl, I hope you stick to the restraining order, and I hope you stick to the restraining order. That's all I gotta say. Honestly, it seems like he don't fuck with you anyway. So I wonder if he's like reaching out, if there's like some type of back and forth. It's just like from the beginning, it just gave he hated your guts. And so all I could think is, how did y'all even get to this point? Because it seemed like he hated you from the beginning. The nigga came out just talking shit. That's how we found out he was your baby daddy, because he was talking shit. Girl, stay away from him. I know you got his baby, you may be attached. Stay away from him. So now moving on to this video clip that I saw. So basically, I saw this clip and I wanted to give my reaction to it. I did see it, but I don't remember exactly what she said. But I'm going to share my thoughts after.
If a man offers to take you on a vacation or a trip and you do not plan on sleeping with this man, do not hop on that plane. Do not waste that man's time. And then y'all got the nerve to be like, just because I hop on a flight don't mean I'm entitled to sleep. That's true, but pay for your own flight. Why do you need him to pay for? That's how you want to move. Like,
okay. So there was a lot of debate about this, I feel like, a few years ago. Just basically like flown out etiquette. And on one hand, I can understand why a person says if a guy decides to fly you out, that you should be prepared to give up that unana. Now, on one hand, I'm like, we have to be realistic, and being realistic, we know that a lot of men will want you to be ready to give it up. And they would not feel comfortable if they spent all of this money on you and then they get nothing. Right? That's the reality of things. The other hand of things is if we're getting to know each other and we're not there yet because the woman doesn't feel there yet, then there should be no expectation that she's supposed to give herself because you decided to do these things for her. So I get both sides. I personally would say to have a conversation. I think there's some men who would be completely fine. And this is me being honest. I know that it may sound a bit far-fetched, but some men are not going to mind you just coming out, hanging out with him. He would get you another room, set you up really cute, and you'll be fine. You'll be comfortable. And he won't feel the need to pressure you into, becoming intimate with him. And then there's other men who would throw the out immediately. Like, why would you ever think that I'm flying you somewhere and we're not going to sleep together? So I would just say, be honest. Think about how you feel about things. Say, I do like him. I do feel comfortable enough to do this. But I'm not ready to go there. And if you're... Just be honest with yourself. If you're not... Just be like, I'm comfortable enough to go with him on a trip. I'm not comfortable enough to get intimate, and just communicate that. If he makes it clear, if he's like, no, like, why would you think da-da-da, then if you want to go, still think, am I going to be able to give him, am I willing to do whatever? If I feel comfortable with this, then fine. If I don't, then no, stay home. Again, I think if you openly communicate how you feel, make sure that you're standing on your boundaries. At that point, not at that point, after having that conversation, if he makes it clear, like, no, if you're coming, then I expect this, and you're not with it, then don't go. If he's like, no, come anyway, we're still going to have a good time, you feel comfortable, again, if you feel comfortable, then I think still go. It just depends on, like, who you're dealing with. That's how I feel. I feel like there's some guys that would take you out and it'll be fine. I think there's most guys who would be like, no. But there's still some guys that would be like, that's okay. Shout out to those. They're a good time. But it just depends on you and your level of comfortability, period. Make sure that anywhere that you go, even if it's to a date, if it's on a trip, if it's on a day excursion, whatever the case may be, just make sure that you always have enough money to pay for yourself, and make sure that you always have enough money to make it home. Because you catch the right guy and he will leave you out there. The closest thing is the story that I already told about the guy that like wanted a sugar daddy, I guess essentially relationship, and I turned him down. He wasn't even, I had turned down the fly out attempts, and so he was like, all right, I'm gonna be in your city. And so I was like, okay, we can like start that way. I didn't know this is before I knew that he wanted to do like a sugar baby thing. I thought he was just like trying to talk to me regular. And so he had sent me money. He didn't send me money. We was discussing how much he was going to send me so I could get ready to get cute. But I didn't take his money. Well, he never sent it. Before he sent it, I was like, I can't. Because I knew that he wanted to have sex and I didn't want to have sex. So I said, never mind. I don't want this. And he was so mad. He was like, why would you? I was just going to send you the money. And you may be like, do you think he was going to say? I think he was going to send me the money. I've had men send me money for no reason. Moving on. That I've done, men that I've said nothing to. For real. Like, we've never even had a real conversation, like, on the phone and nothing. Send me money. Anyway. The good old days. Moving on to show recap. We're going to be recapping Real Housewives of Atlanta. I only watched the episode one time, and I feel like I still half watched it. So I probably should watch again, but I won't. We will simply just speak about what I remember. And what I remember is... What do I remember? I remember Kelly comes over to Shamia's house. And they discuss hosting the girls' trip together. And they're going to Grenada. Woo! I think that's going to be so much fun. They also collected some things so that they can give to Grenada because the smaller island was hit by a hurricane and could really use the extra aid. And so the girls came and they dropped off their things. And it was really cute and charitable. But then we had Brittany pull up. And Brittany looked like she stopped at a little store on the way and picked up $20 worth of items instead of actually trying to donate a bunch of stuff. And so... I don't know. It just seemed like this entire episode was to show how Brittany doesn't have any money. How do I get to that conclusion? Well, we move on to Brittany's event. Now, Brittany's event had started technically, right? So she had a start time, and that start time had passed, but they were still setting up. So that's very interesting. Brittany then had the girls golfing in really cute, like, club-ish, or, you know, like, going out, or just, like, dress up outfits, and in heels. Now, she may have done that to maybe distract them away from the fact that her party wasn't set up, but it just gave very much so, what the fuck are we doing here? When she got back to the place, we see that Brittany didn't have enough food to feed everyone. And she had only set it up to where the girls on the show would eat. And then everyone else would watch them eat. When she gave them gifts, the gifts seemed to be a bit bare. And then she was like shady with the sizes. And again, every time Britt tries to come for Angela, and they give her so much leadway. It's disgusting. It's almost as if the producers favor her, kind of like what they do for Ashley on Real Housewives of Potomac. So they give them like so much just camera time and all of this weird shit, and they're just horrible. Cause her event was terrible. It really was. I don't know how the fuck you would have an event and you would feed 10 people at the event and then you don't feed everybody else. I feel like then just give like snacks to everybody or appetizers to everybody. You don't feed some people and then not feed other people. Like, that's super ghetto. And then it just seemed like, not it just seemed like, the event was just all over the place. It was just really all over the place. What else happened? Did anything else significant happen? No, I feel like we just kind of saw Britney's horrible like hosting abilities, and I would, if she ever does another event, I think that she should really take a completely different approach. Allegedly, she didn't get a party planner. She got an official decorator. And so clearly the difference between a planner is the planner is going to plan everything, and then the decorator just decorates the place. And so it was a mess. It was a hot mess. And I just feel like the main thing of having an event, they said in the South, people may say in Georgia, maybe it's specifically an Atlanta thing because it's like attached to your status. But I think anywhere that you go, if you have an event, the thing that would be the most embarrassing for me, I was going to say would be bad food, but worse than bad food is no food. Because they done went to your event and you're hungry and you're never going to live that down. Like, Britt, you did a horrible job. Horrible. But the girls didn't shade you for it. They did not. They shaded you in the confessionals and stuff, but they didn't shade you to your face. But you did a horrible job. And it's crazy because somebody else did point out that Kelly had like 3 events, and all of her events are really spectacular and all of these things. And Kelly just did a really good job with her events. You could have asked Kelly for some advice because, baby, you did horrible. Anyway, moving on. Okay. So now moving on to comment confessions. The title confessions. Of this is, I went to Miami to support my best friend's breakup and found out the truth about mine. So this happened about 3 months ago, and I still don't know how to emotionally file it. I, 31 female, have been best friends with Layla, 32 female, since college. She's the kind of friend who will drive 3 hours at 11 p.m. because you feel weird and need ice cream. She's also been dating this guy, Derek, for 5 years. They lived together, shared a dog, did couple therapy, the whole thing. Then, out of nowhere, she calls me sobbing. It's over. He cheated. I need to leave the city. I say what any friend would say. Let's go to Miami. It was supposed to be a healing trip, just 2 of us. Too many mojitos and screaming Olivia Rodrigo lyrics from the hotel balcony. I booked the flights and packed my emotional support snacks, and off we went. The first few days, perfect. Poolside drinks, late night heart to hearts. I even caught Layla smiling again. Then day 4 happened. We're quiet at a beach bar, sipping overpriced coconut cocktails. Then she asked if I ever had doubts about my ex, Aaron. We'd broken up 6 months earlier, and it ended kind of bland. No cheating, no screaming, just different paths and timing. It was civil, boring even. But then Layla says, I think Aaron and Derek were cheating together. I laugh out loud. She stares at me dead serious. Apparently, she found another phone Derek had hidden. In it were messages with someone saved under AA. Not super suspicious until she reads the messages and saw some oddly familiar details like she's always traveling for work, perfect time, and can't wait for that Denver trip again. Now, I work trip to Denver with Aaron around that exact same time. I felt my stomach drop. Layla pulls out a napkin. She literally wrote notes. Who needs therapy when you have a Virgo friend with a Sharpie? And shows me timelines, the overlaps, the names, the emojis. The evidence was all there. Aaron and Derek have been hooking up for months. Climax time. I walked straight into the ocean, didn't even take my clothes off. Just walked until my boobs were underwater and screamed. Layla joined me. We screamed, we cried, we laughed. A random guy offered us tequila. We declined, but appreciated the gesture. And then, here's the twist. Back at the hotel, soaking wet, Layla checks her phone. She got a message from Derek's mom. She says, "I'm sorry for everything. I want you to know Derek always said you were the best thing that happened to him. I think he messed up because he didn't know how to love himself." Which sounds sweet until Layla goes, "Why is she texting me from Aaron's number?" So yeah, Aaron gave Derek's mom his old phone, the one with the cheating messages. We're assuming she found the truth, felt guilty, decided to reach out to me in some weird passive-aggressive mom way. We got massages and ate Cuban sandwiches and extended our trip for 2 more days. We agreed to never speak about either one of them again. I'm still confused. Did they cheat with each other or what? Maybe I'm slow. Listen. I'm glad that you guys were able to kumbaya in Miami. That doesn't happen often. I too have been a victim of Miami being the end of my friendship, of a friendship. And so it's impressive that you guys were able to go to Miami and still remain friends, because can't relate, unfortunately. That kind of sucks too. But I'm happy for you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I hope to see you guys in another video.
You tapped in now, it's a dose of precious. 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 She's grown. She's broke. She's speaking her mind. A little dose of truth with a whole lot of shine. Hot topics, real life, no stressing. You tapped in now, it's a dose of precious.